one guy in the spotlight right now is Elon, and you recently remote viewed him, right?
Yes,
Made a whole
I
video
did.
on it.
I did.
I thought it
remote
was really interesting what you found out.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go to my notes because when I remote view, I write down a bunch of notes and I want to highlight the top things. Okay. So when I remote viewed Elon, couple of things. First of all, he has not chosen a side, right? I think that's the one thing that we all want to know. This guy with all of the money, all of the power, all of the influence, and clearly has a brain to him, right? Which side is he on? Because if you just take a look at a photo, he kind of looks like an evil villain. Like he absolutely could play that part. And I've always been very neutral, just personally around him. And so one thing that came through is that he's sort of playing both sides because as you mentioned earlier, right? If you get to a certain level of influence, you're going to be contacted by the shadow government. You are. I mean, there's just no way to go around it. And so he has been contacted by the shadow government, but it was very clear from the remote viewing that he doesn't work for the shadow government. He's not having meetings with them. It's really interesting. He doesn't actually take them as seriously as he needs to, right? Because they do hold a lot of the power. And he's got a very sort of nonchalant, even like comical sort of sense about, oh yeah, sure, like you run things. And so he's playing both sides, right? He hasn't really chosen a side. He very much so seems like just an independent contractor. And one of his biggest things is sovereignty. So when I was taking a look at his soul contracts, he wants to be independent of any major organization, whether that be the white hats or the shadow government. So he doesn't necessarily work for either side, which I think was really fascinating. And I think that because he's so clear in his sovereignty, it's going to stay that way. I really don't see, I mean, what could the Illuminati offer Elon Musk that he doesn't already have?
Facts.
Right? There's just no other thing. There's no other playing card for him. So that's a good thing. Okay. I also picked up on that he is very adamant about AI and sort of like the overtaking of AI. And he's got these robots and, we think of every sort of robot movie in existence, right? Terminator, great example. And we're thinking, Elon, what are you doing? Like, the risks involved, so why are you pushing the market? But when I took a look at his soul contracts, it's clear that he's only pushing to dominate the space because he is so concerned about the potential risks involved. So that's not just something that he's said publicly. That is something that he truly does feel and fear and is completely aware of, which is good, right? So, I mean, good to that extent, right? There's always this other aspect of Elon, which is his ego, right? I think that his ego is his biggest downfall. He's so childlike and so immature in a lot of ways. I just feel like he's got to grow up in so many ways. And for someone to be that immature or to have that much of an ego and be in the position he's in, it's just a little bit concerning. A couple of other things that I saw with him, which were interesting. I really saw him deep diving into quantum mechanics as just an interest later in his life, not too much later. So he's 53 now. So I saw around in his 60s, he's going to really get interested in quantum mechanics and quantum physics, which I think would be brilliant and incredible and a big benefit to humanity. And then I also saw him getting into consciousness and spirituality around that time too. It's kind of hard not to get into consciousness and spirituality when you get into quantum physics because they are so similar. And then two other things that I saw that was so fascinating. It seems like in his lifetime, he's going to really push, I saw levitating vehicles, so anti-gravity. It seems like he's going to be the one to not necessarily invent it, but maybe cultivate it, push it, give it the money that it needs to take off.
Flying cars?
Flying cars.
Let's
saw
go.
it. Yeah, let's go. And then the other thing that I saw, and this is sort of later in his life, in his 80s, I really saw him getting into cryo chambers as well. Yeah, so like he's going to be really interested later in his years to preserve life, right? And eventually he's going to want to cryogenically sort of freeze himself until there's a solution to live forever, which is, once again, a throwback to every sci-fi movie we've seen of billionaires trying to preserve their life. But it seems like Elon's going to really bring it into fruition.
Yeah, how do you feel about that overall? Just the people trying to transfer their consciousness to another vessel?
I think it's silly. Like, let go of your current body. I think if you really understood if you really understood reincarnation, then that wouldn't be such an issue. Like, you would know that I'm going to live a different life, potentially on a different planet, and it's probably going to be a hell of a lot better than this.
I agree.
You know?
I think you live your life to the most, and
Yeah,
whatever
and
happens
you let
next.
it go and move on.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what happens next, but why would you want to be old and living at 80 or whatever?
Exactly.
Do you think he's spiritually protected? Because there's probably been people trying to come at him, clone him or something.
Oh, very spiritually protected. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, assassination attempts. Yeah, I mean, he's a threat. But what's really interesting is the Illuminati or the shadow government will not take him out, because if they can convince him to join their side, then he's too big of an asset. So he's got that going for him. That's actually his safety right now, is he's such an asset, and he's kind of playing that side, joking with them. Yeah, sure, one day, but never. We'll never. It just seems like in his soul. And so because of that, because he's sort of stringing them along, it seems like they won't actually take him out until he says, no way. And hopefully, you know what I mean, he continues to sort of play that game, because he's in the middle right now.
Yeah, which is a dangerous spot to be in, too.
Totally dangerous.
Playing both sides, double agent, right?
Yeah.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode.